I think now you are able to see my screen. See, as I told, we can compile our Python code in many ways. One is in command line, one is in Jupyter Notebook. This is also one type of Python execution tool. You can say simply you will enter a command pip install Jupyter. Pip is a Python package manager. You can install any package with pip. When you install Python, you will get pip as well. Just you have to type this command in your command line, just any command line. After that, go to desired location anywhere in your system. Just type Jupyter Notebook. Automatically, this will open like this. You will get some nice web interface here. Just click on New, select Python 3. Now you will get Python compiler here. Now you can directly write your code here. Actually, this Jupyter Notebook is useful when you're dealing with data analytics or data visualization part. I thought for today's session, I will teach in Jupyter Notebook. These are the cells. We will write code here. Yesterday, we were in last session, we've written in a Python file and we compiled it through command line. Now we will get output here only directly. You will get output here. You will write Python code here. Directly, you will get output here. Like no need to save with .py extension. Everything will take care by Jupyter Notebook. This is one of the useful tool to compile Python code. Yeah, in last class we discussed about variables, variable declaration. One minute. Just I will give quick recap of last session. Simply, what are variable and what are the different ways of initialization variable. For suppose I want to initialize a variable a with value of 1. I will give like this: a equal to 1. Enter. Now in a, I have a value of 1. This means a is a variable. This having a value of 1. In same way, we can declare multiple variables at a time. A comma b equal to 1 comma 2. Now I am printing this two variables. Uh, Here I declared one variable with one value a equal to 1, but here I want to declare multiple variables at a time. In that situation, I will separate variables by comma, then assignment operator. After that, whatever the values you want to give, we have to give like this: a comma b equal to 1 comma 2. In single line, you can define n number of variables: a comma b comma c comma d. Like this, you can define n number of variables in single line of code. While variable declaration, we have some guidelines according to Python language. They kept some predefined conditions before declaring a variable. Variable name, whatever the thing you are declaring here, for suppose you are giving a name equal to some name. Here name is a variable, right? To take this name, we have some conditions here. This should be a string. It should not be a number. Like we can't assign 1 equal to name. We can't do this. Why? Because we have some guidelines here. We call it as a PEP guidelines, PEP8 guidelines. I'll show documentation regarding that. These are the PEP8 style guides for Python code. For each and every topic, we have some rules, we have some restrictions here, how to define a variable. Regarding that, you can prefer this document. This is the official website for Python. One minute. Variable name should start with alphabet. It should be lower letters. Variable should be lower letters. You can separate variable name. For suppose I have first name, you can separate first and name with underscore. Or suppose I want to separate this first name equal to Sai. Here I will use underscore. We can use strings. We can use underscore here to define a variable. Even at the end, you can use number as well, but it should not start with number. Variable should not start with a number like one dot first name. This will throw a error. Why? Because variable name should start with string only. That is the one of the rule given by Python code. We are not supposed to override that. These are the main things while declaring variables. Now we will go deeper into variables, how these variables are storing that values. I'll tell one example here. B equal to 10. I define two variables, A equal to 10, B equal to 10. Print A, print B. Here I am using one function. It's name called ID. What it will do means we'll pass some variable here. We will get ID of that variable. Just a minute, you will get clarity what I am telling here. See, if you observe this first 10, this is the value of A. We given A value is 10, so we got 10 here. B value also 10, so we got 10 here. But when you refer this address, like ID means where we this 10 value stored in a memory. This is the address of that location. We define a variable, we given a value 10, means this 10 is stored somewhere. 7824 is the this 1407118 is the address of that variable in a memory. If you observe, the address of A and address of B is same. Why? Because A and B values are same. That is the reason we got same address. In simple way, we can say A is referring to same address, B is also referring to same address. Why? Because it's both having same values. Now I will give 12 here. Now I got different address. When you initialize this variable, it has to store it somewhere in memory. At that time, one address will be located addressed for that variable. That is the address of this variable. We will get that id, will get that address by id. This is one of the famous function in Python. We will use a lot of time this id, like if you involved in a big project, you're not able to identify which variable is coming from which module, then you can use this id to identify the variable address. This is all about id. uh, that's all about variables. Here main thing is we can define multiple variables in single line. This feature is not in any other language. Only Python allows like this type of code. Next I want to discuss about Python keywords. In every language there will be some keywords allocated for programming language. We are not supposed to use those keywords in our program. Like for suppose you are writing one program, you are working on a project, you are not supposed to use these keywords in your project as a variable names or any other purpose. These keywords are predefined: false, await, else, import, pass. These all are predefined keywords. Each keyword have a specific purpose there. Each keyword is defined some specific work there. That's why we are not supposed to use these keywords as a variable names or any. We can't modify these properties, keywords of properties of keywords. Each keyword is allocated for some specific work here. Or suppose import is a keyword to import packages or import libraries. False is a boolean type. We will discuss about this in future. If you want to know more about these keywords, just Google it, Python keywords list. You will get this. Yeah, that's all about keywords. Now, in last class, I given some overview of print function. Actually, you may get interview question while attending, while in interview maybe you will get a question. What is a print statement in a Python? You have to say print is a function. In Python 2, it was a statement. In any other language, print whatever the output is printing to the screen, that will be a statement. But in a Python 3, print is a function. Just you can say print is a function. We have some special operations here on print. I want to list out those all print operation. 1 minute, I will write here. These three are the keyword arguments for print function. For suppose I will show with one example. A equal to 1, B equal to 2. Now I am printing A comma B. If you observe here, I got 1 space 2, but I didn't give any space here. I just separated both variables A comma A B with help of comma, but I am getting space here. This space is coming from sep keyword. Here this is the predefined one. Sep already defined to space like this. That's why we are getting space here. For suppose if I don't want to space here, just I want dot here. With print, I will pass this sep equal to dot. Will get between these variables. Whatever the thing you are passing in the sep, you will get those value here. For suppose if I pass at the rate here, I will get 1 at the rate 2. This space predefined value is space. That's why we are getting space between 1 comma 2. If I want to overwrite that, just I will define like this: space equal to step equal to or any character. I will get the character in this between. In same way, we have end as well. End predefined value is /n. This will take you to the next line. This is the default value for end. If you don't want to go to the next line after printing, you can remove this. And we have one more feature here, file. The default value of file is sys.std out. This one is the default value of file keyword argument. What it will do when you given print statement, that printing output to your screen. If you want to send this output to some of other file, you can give that file path here. If I specified some one file name, I just enter this line Python code. Then this 1 comma 2 value will not appear on my screen. Thus will go to that file. We have 3 arguments here: sep, end, and file. That's all about print statement. I'll write here. Separates the variables. Yeah. Yeah. In last class, we also used this class input, enter your name. I think you remembered it. Actually, what it will do, it will take input from user console. It will convert into a string, whatever the input you are giving. Maybe it may be string, it may be float, it may be integer, but will it convert into string only? We'll try that one. Suppose I am giving number here. See, I entered 465. It's a number, but I am getting type is str string. Defaultly, input will convert any input into a string format. That is a default behavior of input. This one thing I would like to add here. That's all about this. Yeah, in last class we discussed about float, integers, and strings. Excuse me. Now I'll show some data types here. One minute. 1 minute, guys. 'Hello, are you able to hear me? Anyone confirm? I lost internet connection.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, bro, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. 1 minute. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah,
Sure, bro.
yeah. These are the data types of Python. Numeric. In numeric, we have integers, floats. Last time we discussed about string and integer and float. Today we will discuss all about this. Integer means nothing but numbers. Float means a number with a decimal point. Complex number is, I think you remember in your math sessions, like I plus j, some complex numbers will be there. In our maths, we have that complex numbers. We will discuss these complex numbers in later sessions. Today, I won't be discuss about these complex numbers. We will finish that basic data types first, and we will go for advanced data types. Next one, we discussed about strings. For suppose this is a variable which having value of hello. This is a string value, type of name, str. Already we discussed about slicing and dicing, how to select this first letter and last letter from string. No, today we will discuss about some inbuilt operations on strings. 1 minute. We have a lot of inbuilt methods on strings. At least every developer should try this at least once while learning Python. For suppose we have capitalize here, what it will do, how to use this method on our in our Jupyter notebook. I'll show that. Name. If you observe, my given name is a small h with a small hello with small h. But when I applied this capitalized method on name, I'm getting first letter is capital. This is the purpose of that capitalized method. This is the inbuilt function to capitalize the first letter. Everyone should aware of this methods. Why? Because when you are giving interviews, definitely they're going to ask some programming questions. You mostly you will get 70. Like if you attempted 10 questions, out of 10, 5 questions on strings only. Like lot of questions are there, like reversing string. We have to check whether given the string is palindrome or not. We have like lot of methods here. String, case fold, count, ends with. Suppose I want to check here, my name is ending with a or not. We got false here, means it's not ending with a. For suppose I will give o here, now I got 2. when you are working on a project, maybe you get a situation like this. You have to find the users which names are ends with 0 or which names are ends with s. You have to perform this task. In that situation, we will use this function. Just I will share this link in chat. Just go through this inbuilt function. For suppose you can use find method. Every method we have to use like this only. First we will give variable name. After that dot, just method name. For suppose find return index of first occurrence of string. For suppose I want to find in my name whether I have L or not. Sorry, I have to pass this in single quotes. Why? Because it's a string. Yeah, I got index of L. You can do lot of operations here. These all are string inbuilt operations, like inbuilt methods. You can convert into lowercase. You can convert into uppercase. Yeah, we can use split as well. For suppose have a greetings, hello, good morning. Greetings is my variable. I want to separate this string like into words. In situation, I will use space here. Why? Because I have space between every word, so I will use just space. Yeah, my complete string is converted into words. My greeting is converted into list of words. Like this, we can split. For suppose I have comma here, we can separate this by comma as well. Yeah, now my input is split into two parts based on the given punctuality in split method. These all are the inbuilt methods in Python. Just try to explore it. Yeah, these are the some string operations. Now we will go to binary data types. Yeah, now we discussed about integer, float, and strings. Now we will go to Boolean data type. Boolean data type having only two values: false and true. Wherever you are using false or true, those will comes under Boolean data types. For suppose a equal to true, I define this. Yeah, I got this type of variable a is will get a bol bool. This belongs to Boolean data types. Just make sure here true starts with capital T and false start with capital F. In other languages, we have a small like true like with small t. In Python, we have capital T. Even false start with capital F. These two are the Boolean data types. Next, we will discuss about list. List is a collection which is ordered and changeable, allows duplicate members. Yes, this is the simple definition of the list. I'll show how to define a list and how to do operations on list. For suppose I'm taking one variable my list equal to open bracket and close bracket. This is the syntax for defining a list. Just open bracket and close bracket. If you check type, we will get list. Now I will define my list with some values. Here we can store a collection of any items. For suppose it may be names, it may be fruits, it may be vehicles. We can store a collection of items here. Lists are mutable. We can change any value here. And list allows duplicate also. For suppose in the same list, I can give one more name as well. Names. I got names 2 times. Now this is the code to define a list. Now we will perform some operations on list like adding item to the list and removing item to the item from list. For suppose I want to add one more item to the already defined list. For that, we will use append method here. I want to add bikes here. If I print my list, yeah, here I got bikes now. My list dot append. Append is a method which we will use on list. This is a method. Inside this method, we will pass directly any item which we want to add to that list. For suppose I can add my name as well, like this. For suppose if I want to remove any element from my list, my list dot remove is the code to remove item from list. Yeah, I removed names from my list. Now I don't have names. The first names is removed from my list. And we have pop as well. We can use pop also. Actually, in remove method, we will pass our item value here. In pop, no need to mention anything. The last one will be removed. My list dot pop will remove last element from your list. If you want to remove specific element, you can use remove. For suppose if you want to remove second element, for suppose from this I want to remove second element based on index. Yeah, I'll tell index as well. This list index starts from 0 to 1, same as a string. In string, first letter will comes under 0 index, later it will increase to 1, 2, 3, right? In same way, list also having index from 0 to n. For suppose if I give my list of 0, I'll get fruits. Why? Because fruits is at first, index starts from 0. In same way, how we perform slicing operations, dicing operations on string, we can apply same methods in list as well. For suppose if I want last item from list, I will give -1. I got bikes. I want first two items. For that, I will do slicing 0 colon 2. Now I will get something I got pop up. Now I want to select first two items from my list. I given my list 0 colon 2. I got two items from my list. This slicing dicing operation same as strings. Same every method will work as strings only. These are the methods to add item, remove item. Even we can update items as well. For suppose we have fruits here. Now I want to make it a fruit. My list of 0 means I have selected these fruits. Now I am assigning yeah, here I selected first element from my list. I assigned new string to that. So it's got changed to fruit. Fruits got changed to fruit. In this way, we will update values as well. Even we have some del method as well here. We can delete item from list. For suppose del my list of I'll give 2. I want to remove these names from my list. In this way also you can do this del space my list open bracket index of that item. This is at 2 0 0 1 2. If I check my list, yeah, names removed from my list. These are the basic methods which will work on list. I'll note down here append 1 minute. Append to add item to list. Remove method will remove item from list. Pop will remove item as well, but here we have some small difference. Sorry, this is remove. For remove method, we have to pass index here. Inside this, we have to pass index, maybe banana or maybe in list we have fruit here. We have to pass. But in pop, no need to pass any element. If you apply pop, last element will be removed from your list. If you specify any number, that element will be removed. That index will be removed. You can use del keyword as well. Well, to remove elements from list. Yeah, one more thing. In some situation, we have to copy list to another list. We want to make duplicate list. For suppose I have my list. I want to make my list to. In that scenario, just you will apply dot copy. Yeah, now we have two lists, my list and my list two. These two are two different lists. Just I copied my first list to the one more list. Like just I copied to the another variable. Yeah, next data type we have tuple. One minute.
Prasad.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
Prabhu.
Prasad.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. Can you share the HTML format of this Python file
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
group?
I will share. I will share. End of the session, I will share this notebook.
IPython do. Okay.
Yeah.
Share in format of HTML so everyone it will be feasible. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, okay, Prabhu. Now we are going to discuss about tuples. Uh, 1 minute. I'll, tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable, allows duplicate members. Here, list is changeable data type where we can modify, we can add, we can remove items from list. But tuple is something different. When you once you define the tuple, you can't change it. Those are like immutable. This comes under immutable data type. Tuple have some special properties here. This is the syntax to define a tuple. For list, syntax is open bracket, like squared bracket and square open bracket, square close bracket. This for list. For tuple, curved bracket, like what you will call curved bracket only, right? Yeah. This is the syntax for tuple. This means I defined the empty tuple. You can store same collection of any items here, names. We have index for tuple as well. Same, it will start from 0 and it will go on, depends on length of the tuple. For suppose this length of the tuple is 3. I want first item from tuple, I will give 0. I got first item from my tuple. Same way, for extracting item from tuple, we will use square brackets. But when you are defining a tuple, we have to use uh, this curly brackets we will use here. But when you are extracting item from a tuple, we have to use square brackets. For suppose like this, you can't give, this will throw you an error. While defining a tuple, you have to do this curve bracket. When you are extracting item from the tuple, we have to use square bracket. This is a small difference. Index part is same. Unfortunately, we don't have any modifying methods on tuple. Why? Because it's immutable. For suppose I show here, yeah, built-in immutable sequence. Like we don't have any operations like append, remove, pop. We don't have any methods like this on tuple. We can't perform these methods on tuple. For suppose you want to store some information which will not able to edit later. Suppose you don't want to edit that information later. In that situation, we will use tuples. For suppose you want to modify, you can update, you can remove. In that situation, we will use list. The difference between list and tuple is only one thing. List is mutable. In list we can change everything, like we can remove, we can add, we can delete. But in tuple we can't. That is immutable. Once you define, that's it. You can't change anything for that. If you want to change anything, you have to define new tuple. Next we have sets. Set is a collection which is unordered and unindexed. No duplicate members. I will explain this. To define a set, this is the syntax. This is the syntax for defining a set. Inside this, we can keep any number of items. One, I define my set with the values of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. When I am printing my set, I got only 3, 1, 2. But when I was defining, I have two ones, two twos. But actually in set, I have only 1, 1, and 2. These duplicate items are not allowed here. And again, it's not having any index as well. For suppose if you observe, when I was printing S, I got 3 at first, after that 1, after that 2. But again, I'm executing the variable S, but I'm not getting any order here. These sets are useful to when you're performing groups like we have two sets A and B. We want union of that set. We want like when you're studying in schools, we have some concept Venn diagrams. To explore those, we will use sets. 1 minute. Yeah, in sets, duplicate items are not allowed, but in tuples and lists, duplicate items are allowed. We have methods here is dot add, like set dot add. We can add items to the set by this method add. In same way, we can remove any item. If you observe is dot remove, I given directly item name. It's removing those items from my set, and we have length method as well. We can find out the length of this set, and same way we can pop item from this set. This will remove the last item from my set. These are the basic methods which we can apply on sets: add, remove, and pop. Even we have update option here. We can use update also. In upcoming classes, we will discuss this update option. Now I will give quick recap about all data types. 1 minute. Sorry guys, I'm getting call. Yeah, today we discussed about data types, right? list the tuples and sets we discussed today, and boolean as well. Now I will give quick recap. This is the syntax to define a list. This is the syntax for defining a tuple. Make sure these differences defining list, tuple, and set. In list, we can add, remove any item. We can perform any operation on list. But on tuple, we can't perform any modifications on tuple. Once you define a tuple, that's it. You can't change anything for the tuple. Set, it won't allow duplicate items in set. This is unordered index. List is a ordered one. One for suppose at zero index you have one, where till until you remove that zero, you have one at list index zero. Like indexes are constants in list and tuple, but in set indexes are not constant. These three are the main data types we'll use mostly across any project or any task. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you didn't understand any topic, you can ask me. I will explain one more time. Any questions? If you are having problem to ask in live, you can ping me in chat as well. You can send personal message also. I think no one having any questions, any doubts. Yeah, that's all for today. In next session, we will discuss about dictionaries and some more logical and comparison operators. I will share this notebook with you in WhatsApp group. I think I'm good to stop this session. If you have any question, just ping me on WhatsApp.